What if everything you've ever been taught about human history, our religions, our morals, our entire origin story, was secretly engineered by something not of this earth?
Well, a lot of people are very hopeful. I wasn't one of them per se, but this idea that we were on the edge of some disclosure, that the government was going to start telling us things about extraterrestrials, and remember that?
Well, the creepiest one that kept going around was that they had brought together a bunch of pastors to talk to them about disclosure, because disclosure is going to disrupt the fabric of society so greatly.
Right.
And the question was, what were they going to tell them? And so what I have been hearing from people that supposedly know things about UFOs was that they were told that religion was created by aliens to keep people in line, and that humans are the product of accelerated evolution, and they needed some sort of an origin story that made sense with rules and morals and ethics and guidelines to follow and something to worship, because without that, people are lost. And so that these aliens have created that.
Well, please let Trump say that in a press conference. He's the president to say that.
Yeah, I got to talk to him. I'll have dinner with him.
To get on there and go, guys, listen, we don't know what's going on. The Straits of Hormuz, they're open, they're closed, they're open, they're closed. Who gives a fuck anymore? Anyway, there is no God. You were all created by aliens, and you were told a bunch of lies about it. Good luck. Keep going to work. Markets up. Straits open, markets up.
It's not even that there is no God. It's that the God story that you've been told it's formulated in a way for your tribal primate brain to accept and understand.
Right.
And that there's probably a true story to all of it. If you go back far enough, and if you got the actual events that they were trying to lay out, there's too much of stuff that's in the Bible that is historically verifiable.
Totally. But do you think they didn't tell people that because they thought it would be too disruptive?
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that, when you talk about the Bible, right, you're talking about a series of stories.
Sure.
Right? Especially when you get to the Old Testament. It's a series of stories. And some of these stories aren't in the Bible that were a part of the religious canon of the day. And one of them is the Book of Enoch. So Anna Paulina Luna told me about, she's like, you really have to read that. And I was like, okay. She was so adamant about it. I'm like, okay, let me read it. So I listened to it on tape in the sauna, which is the perfect way to do it. I'm listening to an audiobook. It's 195 degrees.
Okay.
I'm sweating my balls off. I'm dying in there. And I'm listening to this fucking crazy account that is in the same Dead Sea Scrolls as they found the Book of Isaiah.
Totally.
The same collection of these religious texts. And it's all about how the Watchers came down and mated with the daughters of man and chose them as wives, and then created this race of beings called the Nephilim, which were giants that ruled the earth. This is in the Bible. They talk about the Nephilim in the Bible.
In the Bible,
they talk about Enoch. He's referenced in the Bible.
Right.
But the Book of Enoch, the stories that are in the Book of Enoch, are fucking bananas. Completely bananas. And the only reason why it's not in the Bible, a bunch of rabbis decided that it didn't align with the Torah. The Torah or the Talmud, I forget which one. But they decided this contradicts some of the stories that are in other religious texts, so we're going to keep that one out.
Interesting.
Because it was a collection of these things that's all together.
Who are these rabbis?
Exactly.
Right.
Well, who are all these people that wrote these things down? I have this bit where I read out of the Book of Ezekiel, and there's the hilarious parts of the Book of Ezekiel, and then there's also parts that sound like they're talking about a UFO, these profound experiences, and then other things where they're talking about a prostitute. It's very funny.
Right.
But this whole thing is a bunch of people's interpretations of stories written down, passed down generation to generation, written largely intact once it was an original piece. So they found the Book of Isaiah in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's identical to the Book of Isaiah that is 1,000 years newer. So that was older than the Book of Isaiah that they had by 1,000 years, the oldest one they ever found, and it was verbatim.
Right.
So once they got these stories down, they wrote them over and over and over again, and priests would learn to do that, and monks would learn to do that with their religious texts. They would rewrite things over and over again as part of the practice.
And someone knows, in some subterranean part of the government, they know something or many things that they're not going to tell people because it would be disturbing or disruptive.
This was the story about Jimmy Carter. No, the story about Jimmy Carter was Jimmy Carter, I believe in 1969, he had some sort of a very strange UFO experience that was very real to him, very bizarre, saw something.
Yeah.
And part of his thing was once he gets into office, he wants to tell people. The story is that he was briefed. They explained to him something about the reality of the UFO experience, like what it really is. And he was crying, that he wept openly. So what could that mean? Like, what would that mean?
Well,
a
he
very
was kind of
religious guy.
he was, yeah,
Kind of a
interesting.
pussy? Is that what
He
you're
was a bitch. And this Habitat for Humanity, I never understood. I thought it was.
I think he's a
kidding.
genuinely good person.
Of course he was. He built
that
houses
became
for
a president.
people. Yeah, he was.
Never enriched himself.
But he was also, if you read books about him, he was kind of an operator too. He was kind of he was into the peanut stuff, right? He was a peanut farmer or something. Yeah. You know, nobody gets to be he was sweetest.
Like one of the sweetest of all the presidents.
He was still the president. But so who is doing this It's just the men in black people from the depths of Raven Rock or Cheyenne military or wherever the hell they are.
What they could be doing is covering up years of lying to Congress and misappropriation of funds for all these black ops programs, and the way they can get out of jail
is
because if they go and go and tell the government, oh yeah, by the way, we lied to Congress for 50 years. There's no solid verifiable evidence that Jimmy Carter cried. Of course there's no solid evidence.
Jamie, stop being a narc.
He's a narc.
He's a narc.
Because the UFO sightings
out of
UFO
control.
readings, the Carter cried over UFO story is based on second or third hand anecdotes. Those are my favorite, and is not confirmed by Carter himself or primary official sources. I think it's true.
I think it's true too.
About his 1969 sighting, Carter described seeing a strange light, but did not mention crying or being emotionally shattered by it. Yeah, but I don't think that's what they're saying. They're saying he was emotionally shattered by the disclosure. Cried after UFO briefing.
You've got to live with that knowledge. So he's just got to go around now. And
Richard Dillon, who's by far one of the best guys to read about UFOs and UAPs, very balanced guy and like very evidence-based guy. He includes a lot of crazy stories, but he never goes along with them.
Yeah.
But Richard Dolan's really good. He's got a bunch of books. So I don't know if it's true. It's his podcast.
Is the Jake Barber guy real?
He's the guy that said that he actually had to move a UFO, right, with a helicopter?
Yes.
I haven't talked to him.
I was just watching it, but it's too long. These UFO guys, it's all 3 or 4 out. Like, it's not.
Well, Jesse Michaels does a lot of very in-depth ones with these guys. It
yeah.
has long, but the good thing about that is if someone's like really full of shit, after a couple of hours, you kind of say, you see tendencies that maybe they exaggerate or they make things up or they leave stuff out or whatever it is. But something's going on. Right? There's something that people keep seeing. There's enough radar information. There's enough video that doesn't make any sense.
We never found out what those drones were. Remember that? They were all around the bases in New Jersey and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. People were scared to fly.
People say it's it was domestic. It was us. That's what I've heard. But then, who
Could
knows?
be China. Could be China flexing and pulling their dick out. Saying, check out what we have, motherfuckers. Who knows?
Who knows?
But there was a lot of things that those things were doing that we don't know that they can do.